ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Vasudev, Narayan, Janardhan, Padmanabh, Madhusudan, few of the many names that Sri Hari Vishnu is known by. Although he is known by several names, the number of Leelas he is known for easily outnumber the long list of names we know him by. As the Narsingh Avatar, as Ram, as Krishna, even as Mohini, Sri Hari Vishnu has appeared in several forms from time to time to play out his divine extraordinary Leela solely for the Kalyan, for the well-being of the world. Now Sri Hari Vishnu is known for his special love, his dedication and commitment towards his devotees, which is why his devotees too try a zillion ways to please him, to express their devotion, their faith in him. Amongst several of these rituals, such as performing yagyas, pujas, kirtans for him, there is one particularly special ritual that finds mention in the Vishnu Puran and even the great epic Mahabharata. And according to these texts, this particular practice is sure to please our Sri Hari Vishnu, thereby allowing him to bless, to grant a vardhan, a wish of the devotee who follows this ritual. The beautiful thing about this ritual is that every month provides a devotee 2 windows to indulge in it. It is the day we know as Ekadashi, that is, the 11th day after each full moon night and no moon night respectively. And amongst all these Ekadashis, all through the year, there is one particular Ekadashi that is even associated with one of the Pandavas, the Pandav with the strength of 100 elephants put together, the strong, the mighty Bhimsen. A story within a story. Exciting, isn't it? So without much ado, let's dive into this divine story about Ekadashi that allows us all the opportunity to enjoy the special love and care of Sri Hari Vishnu.
A DC where stories begin.
The people of Satyug lived in terror, gripped by the fear of an Asur called Mur. The horror, panic and intimidation of this Asur was such that people had stopped performing yagyas, pujas. With all his might, his force, he would crush any positive or divine practice that was in play. Not just humans, Devtas too could not confront his powers, his strength, and hence had to leave the heavens to save themselves. In the hope that they would receive help from Mahadev, they all went to Shiv, who in turn told them that the only person in the position to provide a solution to this situation was the one who protects this universe, the avatar of the Param Purush, the supreme man, Narayan. Following Mahadev's directives, the Devtas approached Sri Hari Vishnu and told him about the destruction, the tyranny that was caused. They explained to him how Mur had now become a nightmare for all, urging him to help. Hearing all that the Devtas had to say, Sri Hari Vishnu was seething with rage. He reassured the Devtas, gave them courage to hold on. And then Bhagwan Madhusudan got up, held his Sudarshan Chakra, his Gada, and his divine Shram, his bow and arrow, and set off to free the world from the tyranny of Mur. He used his discus, his Sudarshan Chakra, to slay Mur's entire army. But the same Sudarshan Chakra couldn't put an end to Mur. Even Narayan's mace and the arrow shot out from his divine shrine could not kill this devious Mur. All the Devtas who watched on while this battle ensued were taken aback, shocked that the divine most powerful weapons too had failed to slay this monstrous Asur. Realizing that the weapons weren't going to help, Sri Hari Vishnu put down his arms and began to wrestle with Mur. Although Mur couldn't push Sri Hari Vishnu back with all his strength, but surprisingly, he could take all the blows and punches that landed on him. Both Sri Hari Vishnu and Mur continued to wrestle with all their might. There was no sign that this battle was going to end anytime soon. The pride that the Devtas had about their powers and strength was now crushed. Even humans cursed their evils, their indulgence in feelings of jealousy, greed, lust, and anger. After all, with these negatives getting fueled, the powers of Mur grew too. But then again, all of this too was one of Vasudev's several Leelas. During the last leg of this fight, Vasudev felt a little tired and abruptly left the battle and proceeded towards one of the caves in the Badrik ashram. Seeing Sri Hari Vishnu suddenly walk away from the battle left all the Devtas in a state of panic, while on the other hand, Mur felt even more confident and became even more arrogant of his powers, his strength. Elated about his strength and eager to prove his might, Mur too followed Vasudev into the cave where Sri Hari Vishnu lay in Yog Nidra. But foolish Mur, in an attempt to pamper his ego, thought he was fast asleep. He decided to seize the opportunity and strike while Vasudev was still asleep. As soon as he raised his sword and stepped forward, something strange happened. A strange, strong, and radiant light came out of Vasudev's body and transformed itself into a woman whose head was adorned with a sparkling crown of gold. In her hands, she held several divine weapons, a celestial face with brows lowered and drawn together with rage, her jaws thrust forward and her lips pressed, her eyes filled with anger. This Devi didn't waste a second. She held Mur by his neck and slammed him to the ground, placed her foot on his chest, pinning him down, lifted her sword. With the speed of light, she beheaded him. At this point, Sri Hari Vishnu broke out of his Yog Nidra and noticed this strange Devi before him. He asked, "Devi, who are you? Where have you come from?" Devi smiled and responded, "Dear Lord, I am born from your energy, your aura and light." Hearing this, Sri Hari Vishnu requested her to ask for a boon. Devi promptly responded. She said, "Dear Lord, amongst all the divine practices and rituals conducted, be it yagyas, pujas or tirth yatras, I pray that I be the topmost, the prime, the first most important ritual, so that all the devotees who please me will instantly be blessed with your special love and care." Janardhan responded with a smile and said, "Devi, you have just provided all of mankind with a simple, easy solution. Since you have appeared today, on the 11th day, after a no moon night, you will be worshipped as Ekadashi. Any devotee who fasts on this day, on the day of Ekadashi, will be granted a wish of his choice." Now friends, this story was the same story that Sri Krishna had narrated to Pandu Putra Yudhishthir during the Ashwamedh Yajna. Now at that time, Bhimsen too was listening to this story. Curious, he asked Sri Krishna, "Dear Krishna, my brother, along with Mata Kunti and Draupadi, everyone religiously partakes in the fast of Ekadashi twice a month and insists that I too fast with them. But dear Lord, we all know well that hunger and beam don't go along well. To think of befriending the enemy not once but twice a month is just unimaginable. Isn't there a way I can reap the benefits of this ritual without having to fast twice a month?" Lord Krishna lovingly laughed out loud and requested Maharishi Vyas to guide Bhimsen with a legitimate solution to this difficult situation. Maharishi Vyas turned to Bhimsen and said, "Bhimsen, the solution is simple. Just push yourself and fast, that's all." Hearing this, Bhimsen was a little flustered. He paused for a moment to think, but quickly snapped out of the thought and said, "I can't stay hungry, that too twice, every month." At this point, Ved Vyasji said, "Panduputra Bhim, in that case, I recommend that you fast on the day of Nirjala Ekadashi, a day that comes only once a year. If you fast on this day, you can reap the benefits, the punya, that is equivalent to the fast of all the Ekadashis put together." Dear friends, since that day on, Nirjala Ekadashi also came to be known as Bhima Ekadashi. Today, even modern science talks about the miraculous benefits of fasting, where the rest of the world is just waking up to the idea, to the benefits of fasting. India, for thousands of years now, has not just understood the benefits of fasting, but has also been reaping the benefits of the same. Truly blessed is what India is. Truly glorious is our past.
A DC where stories begin.